The Texas Tech basketball team is making another historic run in March during the NCAA tournament. Coming up, Alejandra Salazar will be in the studio with a look at highlights from this past weekend and a look at who's next on the schedule.
The Texas Tech community is made up of over 40,000 students from throughout the United States and around the world. Find out how an annual week-long event is helping educate students about the diverse population here at the university.
And one Red Raider is hoping to make his way to the top in a competition that some people don't even know happens here at Texas Tech. MCTV's Patricia Perry has that story in today's Student Spotlight.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Clay Cash.
And I'm Austin Garrison. The Texas Tech men's basketball team headed to San Diego, California this weekend to compete in the first round of the 2022 NCAA tournament.
The Red Raiders made their fourth straight tournament appearance, but this time with the new coaching staff at the helm. MCTV Sports' Alejandra Salazar joins us now with a wrap-up of the past weekend's action. Alejandra?
Thanks, Austin and Clay. Head coach Mark Adams and his team are continuing to make headlines after the Red Raiders successfully made their way through the first two rounds of March Madness. On Friday afternoon, number 3 seed Texas Tech took 14 seed Montana State at Viejas Arena. On paper, the Red Raiders and Bobcats were pretty evenly matched, but Texas Tech soon proved that there was no comparison between the two teams. Tech took a 27-point lead into halftime and scored 45 more points in the second half to advance to the second round, with a final score of 97-62. The Red Raiders' dominating performance was one of the best so far in this year's tournament, and it was also the most points Tech has scored in any game this season. The Red Raiders finished up the weekend last night with a 59-53 win over 11th-seeded Notre Dame. Kevin Obanor, Bryson Williams, and Kevin McCullough all finished in double digits, with Obanor leading the team with 15 points. Adonis Arms and Marcus Santos Silva only contributed a total of 9 points during the game, but they both hit free throws late in the contest that secured the Red Raiders' victory. Coming up later in sports, I'll have a look at highlights from last night's game, as well as a preview of the Red Raiders' next opponent as they head to the Sweet 16. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Alejandra. Throughout the year, the Texas Tech campus hosts several week-long sets of events to bring awareness to important topics in the campus community. And all this week, you have a chance to learn about the many differences that make Texas Tech such a unique place during the 2022 edition of Diversity Week. Earlier today, the Students Activities Board hosted the Diversity Week kickoff in the Sub-North Plaza. Starting at noon, the students could stop by outside the Sub's main entrances and enjoy some free food and activities. The event also featured a multicultural event organization fair and a chance for attendees to learn about the language programs offered here at the university.
I think that you have a lot of diversity on the campus, and to make sure that people feel safe and just connected, these are really good to make sure that everyone understands what could be sensitive.
Today's kickoff event finished up around 2 p.m., but it was the first of more than a dozen events taking place throughout the week. The next event on the Diversity Week schedule is Drag 101, tonight in the Sub Playa Room. The event is sponsored by the Residence Hall Association, and it will feature a panel discussion with drag performers who will talk about the drag show culture and their experiences. Tonight's event is scheduled to start at 6:30 p.m. and it's free and open to the campus community. For a full Diversity Week schedule, visit sab.ttu.edu and click on the Events tab near the top of the screen.
Today is the first day following spring break. Many students are still reflecting on the fun they enjoyed during the holiday, which most likely included a meal at a favorite restaurant. But for some students, just finding enough food to make it through the break was a struggle. With that in mind, the College of Arts and Sciences is hosting a Fill the Pantry food drive all this week here on campus. The food drive is being held in conjunction with the Diversity Week, with all donations benefiting the on-campus Raider Reds food pantry. Starting today through Thursday, Arts and Sciences is collecting donations all across campus. The locations can be found in buildings such as Biology, Psychology, Math, and Holden Hall. There is also donation at the Wind Energy Institute, which is located at the Reese campus in West Lubbock. The donations being collected include dry goods and canned items, such as protein bars, pasta, chips, soups, and fruits and vegetables. Peanut butter, jelly, and rice. Crispy treats are also requested. On Friday, the food drive will wrap up with an event in the Sub-North Plaza. Representatives from the College of Arts and Sciences will be available from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to collect donations during the last day of the drive. Friday's event will take place at the same time as other Diversity Week events, giving students a chance to drop off items and have some fun. For more info on Friday's event, visit sab.ttu.edu and click on Diversity Week 2022. Spring break here on the South Plains featured some much warmer temperatures, with highs climbing into the 80s last Wednesday, making it the warmest day of the year so far.
Since then, we've continued to see warmer conditions, but unfortunately there's also been a lot of wind kicking up dust and increasing the chance of wildfires in the area. So could some much needed rain be headed our way this week? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. Dust is once again visible in the MCTV tower cam today. Winds kicked up early this morning with speeds staying close to 25 to 35 miles per hour and gusts reaching as high as 40. Temperatures have again climbed into the low 70s today, but it won't get much warmer before sunset. But late this afternoon, there's a slight chance of thunderstorms that could possibly bring some rain into the area. Overnight, the winds will continue and temperatures will drop into the mid-30s. There's also a continued chance of thunderstorms into the early morning, but the biggest effect will be the return of cooler conditions. The cool down will continue into tomorrow, with highs only expected to reach late 50s late in the afternoon. Until then, temperatures will hover around the 30s and 40s, with even more wind. Speeds tomorrow are expected to be even higher, with gusts that could reach 50 miles per hour. The wind chill will also be a factor, making it feel as much as 10 degrees cooler throughout the day. The wind will continue to be an issue into midweek, with sustained speeds above 20 miles per hour through Wednesday. 40 and 50 mile per hour gusts are also expected until Wednesday evening. Beyond the wind, Wednesday will also be another cooler day, with highs only making it into the 50s before sunset. Lows could also drop near freezing on Wednesday night. Looking ahead, the wind should finally die off by the end of the week, along with the return of the sunshine, warmer temperatures, and a chance to reach the 80-degree mark again this weekend.
With more than 40,000 students, the Texas Tech community features a variety of people with unique talents and abilities. Some of those skills are showcased in classrooms and athletic facilities here on campus, but other abilities may not be as obvious to fellow students.
MCTV's Patricia Perry joins us now with a look at one Red Raider who has hopes of making to the highest level in this week's Student Spotlight. Patricia?
Thanks, Austin and Clay. In the College of Media and Communication, we have very talented and creative students. Some have passions that run outside of the college. One advertising student has a love for rodeos as well. Colt Honey plans to use advertising to help him succeed. He has big goals of owning an agricultural business and making it to the National Finals Rodeo one day. He believes advertising can help both of those dreams.
I really want to use advertising to get my name out there and get whatever business I have out there.
Rodeo has been in Honey's family generation after generation.
Grandpa did it, my dad did it. We've just grown up around it.
Watching his family members rodeo, he quickly learned this is something he loved to do as well.
I jumped my first year horseback when I was 13, I think.
He team ropes and calf ropes, but the one that excites him the most is steer wrestling.
It's one of my favorite events just because of the adrenaline and everything that happens during it.
Honey was offered a scholarship to come to Texas Tech and be on the rodeo team, which allowed him to continue doing what he loved. Coming to the College of Media Communication raised some concerns of how he would fit in, but he says he has loved it here.
I actually enjoy it a lot more than I thought it would. When I was going to be an advertising major, I was kind of like iffy on the kids I was going to be around and who I guess were going to be in my classes, but I enjoy it a lot.
Honey plans to continue his degree here at Texas Tech before competing in rodeos full-time and opening his own business. Back to you.
Thanks, Patricia. As we mentioned earlier, the Texas Tech Red Raider basketball team found success on the West Coast over the weekend as they started their run in the NCAA tournament.
MCTV's Alejandra Salazar joins us again with a look back at yesterday's highlights, along with a wrap-up of the action from the Diamond in sports. Alejandra?
Thanks, Clay and Austin. Starting things off with March Madness, Texas Tech is heading back to the Sweet 16 after a 59-53 win over 11th seeded Notre Dame by going on a 10-1 run to end the game last night in San Diego. Tech took a 26-25 lead into halftime, with Kevin O'Banner leading the team with 11 points and 5 rebounds. Bryson Williams added 6 points, and Adonis Arms had 3 points for the Red Raiders, who owned a 16-4 scoring advantage in the paint. They were down 52-49 with 1:56 to play when Arms hit a pair of free throws to start the run that was followed by 2 more free throws from O'Banner at the 1:10 mark to take a 53-52 lead. Free throws and defense definitely won the game for the Red Raiders, who were 0 for 3 at the line in the first half before going 13 for 14 in the second half to advance to the next round.
So that is, again, this shows this team has continued to improve, and that's what's so exciting. We're still getting better. We've got a lot of potential left, and like we saw last game and now this one, and so hopefully we'll still make some improvement by next weekend.
The number 3 Red Raiders will now take on number 2 Duke on Thursday in the West Region semifinals at the Chase Center in San Francisco at 8:30 p.m. on CBS. Moving on to baseball, the number 17 Red Raiders faced the Iowa Hawkeyes in the short 2-game series this past weekend. Starting off with Game 1, the bats were hot as Easton Morrell started things off in the first inning with a home run. The Red Raiders doubled their lead 6-0 in the top of the 4th, which was sparked by Dylan Carter, who tripled and then scored on a wild pitch. Tech piled on 4 more runs in the 8th to put the game well out of reach from the Hawkeyes, leading them to win 11-3 to take the series opener. On to Game 2, Ty Coleman hit a leadoff home run in the 2nd to start the scoring for Tech. While it was a 1-1 game through the first 5 innings, Iowa put up 4 runs against Tech in the 6th and later adding on an extra run in the 8th inning to ensure their win. Tech's 7-game streak came to an end, falling to Iowa 6-3, splitting the weekend series. Coming up for the Red Raiders, they're back in action tomorrow night as they host California Baptist at 6:30 p.m. at Dan Law Field before opening up conference play later this week against Texas. Softball, on the other hand, wrapped up non-conference play by extending their win streak to 9 games after sweeping the Red Raider Classic with wins over Northern Colorado and Incarnate Word. Starting off with Northern Colorado, a bunt single from Peyton Blythe started the 5th inning along with back-to-back home runs from Ariana Villa and Peyton Jackson, securing their win against Colorado 5-1. On to Incarnate Word. The bats of Villa and Jackson paced the Red Raider offense as they combined for 4 of Tech's 7 RBI on the day against the Cardinals. Villa worked a full count, fouling off a couple pitches before singling off over the head of the shortstop for the walk-off winner, taking the final game of the tournament 2-1. The ladies are set to open up Big 12 play on the road against Oklahoma State in Stillwater this Friday with first pitch at 6 p.m. TV coverage will be available on Big 12 Now on ESPN+. That's all for sports. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Alejandra. So, Clay, do you think the Red Raiders can make it back to the Final Four again this year?
Come on. Absolutely. And I don't think it's just going to stop there.
Yeah,
I think we might have some national champions here.
See, I hope they get number 1. It'll get me an excuse to get out of my dorm no matter where we're going.
I feel you, man. My March Madness bracket's going to be pretty happy if it works out that way.
That's awesome. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you on Thursday.